Alright, there it is, all taped up, ready to pour. This tape will keep the wood from floating in here. And it's double, triple duct taped on the bottom, so hopefully it won't leak. But I'm going to put a piece of wax paper in the bottom of my pressure pot just to make sure. So I'm going to mix up the resin. And it's 1 to 1 by weight. So once I get it mixed up, then I'm going to pick a color. And I'll come back with the color. Alright, so the other ones, one of them I picked this purple. It says Misty Lavender. And then one of them I picked Super Copper. So this time I'm going with Solar Gold. And I'm not going to put much. I just want a little bit of glitter looking stuff in there. So that's the one I'm picking. Alright, I got both parts in. Now you got to make sure you really mix this stuff up. So I'm just going to stir it a long time. Probably 2-3 minutes. It's not going to set up that quick. But it's really got to be mixed. So I'll come back whenever I get ready to pour. Alright, let's pour it. I don't see it gushing out the bottom. Good old duct tape. Now, it may not come all the way to the top, but I don't care anyway. All I can do is drill about 4 1/4 inches with my Forstner bit. And anything past that, I'm going to cut off. Alright, so this is a problem. I'm going to have to mix a little more. Because it only came up to about right there. I could probably go with that. But I'd cut out a lot of my pattern, so I'm going to mix a little bit more. Alright, I'm in the pressure pot, and I'm going to hold 45 pounds, and I'll pull it out tomorrow. I got my compressor in the garage set at 45. I got the regulator set at 45. The pop-off valve goes at 46. So it's just going to hover right there. If it needs there, the compressor will kick on, and all I got to do is just let it sit. Okay, so there ain't no point just sitting around waiting while that hardens up. So I got a glue chuck, and I got a raised flat ridge around it. And all I'm going to do is put a thin bead of medium C8 glue on it. Like that. And I'm going to poke through the center. I'll find that center. Set it down on there. Give it a little weight. Let her dry. Now, that super glue is going to hold this just fine. But when the mold comes out, I'm going to glue it to this side, so I'm going to be holding all that weight. So I'm also going to run a bead of hot glue around it just to give it as much strength as I can. Alright, it's chucked up, and I put an extra bead of hot glue around it. Now really all I'm going to do is find the center. And while I got it on the lathe, I might as well go ahead and just mark it. I know I need another 1/4 inch or more to cut a tenon in there, or actually a mortise. I'm going to go with a mortise. So that gives me a starting point. So I'm going to make it round, then I'm going to cut it so that I can flip it around, cut that glue chuck off, and wait on my acrylic to dry.
very, very bottom. I'll do the side whenever I get the acrylic on there. And this is Yorkshire grit. I like this stuff. Alright.
This is just a little bit of shine juice. Alright, you call that good. Now I'm just going to flip it around. Come on, baby. Come on. There you go. Now I'll part this glue chuck off, surface this flat, and wait on my acrylic to dry.
A little small tool. I'm going to hit the rest of it with a saw. I ain't got about 1/8 of an inch.
Lock the head, line her up. Anyway, you get the point. Okay, it is off. One thing you always make sure, unlock the head, and I'll just face that off.
Leave it a little rough. You want the glue to stick anyway. So all I'm going to do is check it, make sure it's flat. And it is.
Okay, so it wouldn't come out of the mold, so I had to put it. Okay, I got the epoxy on it, and I got it smashed in my drill press, and I'm not going to mess with it no more today. Okay, so I have it glued to the base, it's chucked up. I haven't drilled it yet, so I'm going to do a little work on it, match this up here, and then I'm going to drill it, and then I'm going to cut it, and then work on the lid. So give me some time. Chips and cracks down to just barely seeable, so I'm going to start sanding up through. I'm going to start with 60 and get it good, and then up, all the way to the top, so I'm not going to bore you with sanding. Okay, here it is, all shined up, and not one bead is touching the acrylic on the outside. So the next step is to drill it out. Alright, the key here is to just take your time. There's no point in getting in a hurry. Run the blade in and out, in and out, in and out. Keep it clean. Let it cool off. Make sure your blade stays clean, because if it gets too hot, it'll melt on these teeth here. So we're just going to go slow, and I'll be back. Okay, it's all drilled out. Now I'm going to sand it out. I made this out of some Delrin. I just cut a slot, and you can slide a piece of sandpaper in there. I'll fold it up and get after it. Alright, that completes the bottom part. Now all we got to do is make a lid and mount the lid. See if I... Alright, so here's what I did. I widened out the top just a little bit so that when I make the lid, I can use part of it to grip in the chuck. And I'll show you that in just a sec. Alright, with this widened out, it's going to work out. So I'm going to take this one off and start working on the lid. Now this part of the lid is going to fit on top of the box, so I'm going to drill a hole to put the little light in, and then I'm going to shave it down so that I have a tenon to fit into the top of the nightlight. So I'm going to drill this first, make it to where it fits, and then I'll have a part sticking up and then shave down and get it round, and then I'll shape the top of the lid and I'll cut it so whenever I turn it around, the perimeter around where the light goes will fit in my jaws. Alright, so I measured this, and you can see I only have about 1/8 of an inch. And okay, fits. A drop of glue on that little bar right there. We'll hold that in. Then you can just change the batteries. So we're good. Alright, so half the lid is finished. Now all I gotta do is flip it around, tighten up right here, and cut the glue chuck off and make some kind of finial. Okay, I finished it. All I gotta do is right on the bottom, and I need a finial, but my wife's gonna go pick out some kind of antique, cool looking drawer knob or something put on there. But all you gotta do is turn it on, put it in there, and you got a light. Alright, so I hope y'all enjoyed it. It fought me all the way, but I got it. So check back next time and like and subscribe. More projects coming up.